So better days are coming. All right, hear this. You know, an alleged official indiscretion, such as brewing between the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the senator representing Kogi Central, Senatorial District Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, has raised the roof. A former Senate President, Bukola Saraki, has cautioned incumbent number 3 man, Senator Akpabio, to allow an open investigation into the sexual harassment allegations leveled against him. Now, both parties, Senator Saraki said, should appear before the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions. An aghast country waits for the next phase, BKO.
Yeah, more and more people are contributing their opinions to this matter, and they will want the matter openly investigated. When people talk about open investigation, we don't know exactly what they are talking about.
How open?
And how open and how potentially scandalous an open
investigation.
Yes.
Is likely to be.
Yes. So, you know, somebody can say something now that is not even the truth. It becomes so salacious that that's what people now run away from. So the Senate is not known to openly conduct. I agree that the Senate President has to be investigated. It's not enough to say, no, I didn't do it. It's not enough to say, oh, Natasha once did this against Reno. And when Reno wanted to go to court, she quickly deleted the things that I said. No. The fact that that happened at that time does not mean that this one couldn't have happened. Okay. I will never agree with anyone who says, oh, because of her record with Reno, that we must not believe what she says. I agree with people who say the Senate President should be investigated. Within the Senate, within the 4 walls of the Senate, they can conduct that investigation.
Yeah.
And Nigerians will want to know whether indeed what she said was true, whether they found him guilty or not. Senator Saraki has offered his opinion. Former Vice President Atiku even said Mr. President should wade in. I don't think everything the president must wade in.
But the president has something to do with it?
Yes, it has nothing to do with this matter. Fubara had this issue, you said the president should wade in. President waded in. Some people stepped in and said, no, don't obey what the president said. Today, the people said that they've left Fubara alone to carry his cross. So I am for investigation in the matter to know the truth, because Nigerians need to know the truth no matter what. But
my own position
within
is
the Senate.
Okay, my own position is that the Senate as an institution has structure in place to handle things like this.
Yeah.
The time that I was privileged to work there, a lot of things like this happen. And the process is that they will send it to the Ethics Committee. The Ethics Committee will investigate it. The Ethics Committee will call Senator Natasha to present
her side,
her facts.
Okay.
And then in the course of that, they will call on the Senate President to defend himself as per the facts presented. And then after the investigation, the Ethics Committee will now come up with a report that they will present to the House, to the Senate to debate. In the course of that debate, the Senate President will step aside and the Deputy Senate President will preside, because you cannot be a judge in your own case.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And usually they do it in camera. The Senate, according to their rules, has sometimes go into what they call closed session, where they will discuss things like this. I think that is what they will probably do. Because like he said, you cannot discuss certain things publicly because it will create unnecessary buzz around what is important. And the Senate as an institution is too important to get involved in trivialities. So it's important that when the report is presented, the Senate President will step aside, the Deputy Senate President will preside, and then the Senate will go into closed session, and then they'll be able to debate the report so submitted.
And
after that, they will now come up with a decision. And then they can now come out and tell Nigerians the decisions arrived at as a result of the report presented to them.
Yes.
That is, I think, is the process.
Well, at a time like this, the issue will normally divide opinion, you know. The number 3 man, see your pictures there. I think,
let's go to
okay. We have somebody, a guest to join us in discussing the issue. I'm talking about a spokesperson of a former spokesperson of the House of Representatives and a media aide to Senate President in the person of Honorable Eseme Eyibo. I greet you. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to be with you this afternoon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's start with the spark over seat rearrangement. What does the Senate rules say on this, if you can share that with us?
Okay. I want to assure you of one thing. Yesterday, the Muslims started their fast. And majority of my friends are Muslims. I want to honor them with the truth in the process of this engagement with you. So I'm going to be very honest, truthful to justice, and truthful to the Nigerian people. Section 2, sub 2 of the Senate Standing Rule. What is Senate Standing Rule? Section 60 of Nigerian 1999 Constitution amended empowers the National Assembly to set for itself a body of rules and regulations to guide its proceeding. So that is the origin of standing order. So Section 2, sub 2 authorizes the Senate President on the issue of the sitting arrangement for order and decorum. And Section 11.3, for reasons of adjustments, when once there is defections to the majority party, like in this case, there will be need for readjustments of the sitting arrangement. Section 11.2. Section 56.3, that the Senate President may direct a non-compliant senator to leave the chamber. Section 56.5 empowers the sergeant at arms to restore law and order where necessary. What are we saying here? The Senate, by the powers of the Section 4 sub 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the National Assembly, the legislature, the Senate, and the House of Representatives are where the powers, the legislative powers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria resides with. Therefore, the height, decorum, elegance, ethical integrity is required of members of that institution. And that's what it is.
All right, then.
Now, are you done? Because I want to ask you a question.
Yes, ask me a question. I'm ready for a follow-up.
So, is the distinguished senator, does the National Assembly, I mean the leadership of the Senate, need to inform a senator that you want to move him or her away from her previous seat? Does the Senate leadership need to inform
of this, yes,
beforehand?
No, by the provisions of these sections. That is why when once you are inaugurated, the first thing that is given to you is the standing order. You are expected to read.
Yes.
So if you are a senator, you know that when once there is a defection, there is going to be seat readjustment. So you don't need to be told. It's something you need to know. You must know, or you ought to have known. So in this case, there was a defection of Senator Ned Nwoko from PDP to APC and another senator from Imo State or Abia State. that also moved. So there was need for that readjustment. So every senator is expected to know that when once there is that defection, in compliance with section 11.3, sub 3, there will be readjustment. So like you heard distinguished Senator Ireti Kinkibe stated the other day that she has been moved almost 4 times. Other senators will tell you that. So I don't know why this particular case is different. And in any case, you must also be aware that as much as you're supposed to know this by the directives of the Senate Standing Order, you ought to also be aware that a senator is noted by his or her contribution, how positive, how impacting, and how active you are in the proceedings of the Senate. And not somebody giving an excuse that where she was asked to sit, the camera would not focus on her. No. The camera, the cameras, the photo, the journalists, everybody, the camera will focus on the basis of contribution. So if you want the camera to focus on you, wherever you sit, you should be ready to be active in contribution. You should be able to be active in delivery. You should be able to bring your constituency, you know, in nexus with whatever is going in the National Development Plan. Because the National Assembly is a legislature, is one of the arms of the government, one of the arms of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So your contribution should be able to have a reflection.
Okay. So what's the procedure regarding? So what's the procedure regarding the privileges enjoyed by lawmakers to be recognized to speak? What is the procedure?
Well, the first thing is that you must speak from your seat. You cannot go to court as a lawyer and speak out of the bar, outside the bar to the judge. You will not be heard. It's not happening anywhere. You cannot go to the church or a mosque and decide to stay outside to speak to the imam or the pastor. No. The presiding officer is the presiding officer of the Senate. And whenever the Senate is in session, members are expected to be seated. Why they are called distinguished, take note, is because of decorum, because of elegance, because of ethical integrity. You are expected to live within these prescriptions. You must be decorous. You must be law-abiding. So if you are asked to sit on your seat, you are expected to speak from your seat and not from anywhere.
Okay.
Privileges can be raised at any point in time. Privileges can be raised at any point in time. But it cannot be from anywhere. You cannot go to Wuse Market and use Skype and raise privilege.
All right, Honorable Eyibo, let me ask this one. So what is the Senate doing? What's the Senate doing to ensure gender equality?
Yes, because there is this complaint that the Senate has never been friendly to the... There is complaint that the Senate has never really been friendly to the female gender.
The most friendly Senate in the annals of our history. There are 4 senators, 4 female senators in the Senate. The senator from Lagos State, the lady from Lagos State, she's heading a huge committee as chairman of humanitarian. Distinguished Senator Ireti Kinkibe is the chairman of the Committee on Women Affairs. Distinguished Senator Banigo from Rivers State is the chairman of health services. Then distinguished Senator Natasha Akpoti Odoagan is in charge, is the chairman of diaspora, where she's exposed to traveling all over the world, where Nigerians are staying in diaspora. What level of friendliness, what level of inclusivity do you expect other than that which has just been lavishly and generously visited on the gender?
All right. But she said they are not allowing her to travel and all that. We had that.
I don't know. I can let you be aware, because a lot of these discussions, most of the discussants are not conversant with how the legislature operates. I am not talking to you as the spokesperson of the Senate President. I'm talking to you as an established parliamentarian who have distinguished himself in learning and practice of parliamentary processes and procedures. I'm telling you that. I've discharged myself in that respect. So to that extent, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you truth and plain truth. As much as the Senate leadership, they have the prerogative to assign committees to anybody. In the 8th Assembly and the rest, where were women? The 4 women now, you know that the issue of humanitarian in this country is an engaging issue when it comes to interventions on the general poverty level, the issue of skills and all of that. And in the budget, humanitarian is in the first bracket. And a woman is chairing that committee in the Senate. Can you imagine health, the challenge of health, public institutions and all of that? A woman is in charge of the Committee on Health. What do you say about Women Affairs Committee? So these women are all distinguished and are discharging it. So the issue of marginalization does not arise. The issue of marginalization is slipstickish, and I can tell you that for free.
Okay. Let's not bother ourselves too much about that. The former Senate President, Bukola Saraki, has said that the President of the Senate needs to step aside for a proper investigation to be carried out about the allegations raised against him. Where do you stand?
Okay, I'm going to, yes, let me start first from building this foundation. It's only a visitor or a first-timer or a stranger who visits his or her guest that is introduced, is taken around the house or taken around the compound. But somebody who is a familiar person in that household, may have been taken around the first time he or she came. But it's very strange and sad that we are hearing that Senators Natasha and the husband, their family is very close to the family of distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President. They have been visiting each other. It's not hidden. So is it just in 2023, during Senator Akpabio's birthday, that they were conducted round? So all along, the families were all bonding and getting on together, visiting each other. They didn't know the house. That is one fact we must interrogate. Then number 2, distinguished Senator Natasha is a very beautiful lady in creation. But I can also tell you that the substance in his allegations are not elegant. And anybody who pays attention to it is embarking on a trip of fantasy. For example, now, she went to court. There is no way in her statement of claims that the issue of sexual harassment is mentioned. There is no way from what is in the public domain now. There is no way. And there has never been any time that she has brought this to the attention of the Senate on points of privilege, that she has been sexually harassed. So there are 2 avenues here.
Look, I want you to address what Senator Bukola Saraki. I don't want to, we don't have so much time.
That's why
I want you to address
that's
that,
where
because
I'm going to.
That is similar to what the former vice president said.
I am saying that what Senator Bukola Saraki said has no place. He has no place for contemplation at this level. Because 1, there is no petition either to the police or any matter in court or before the Senate regarding sexual harassment. It was just somebody exercising the right to public communication, the freedom of expression, went to a television platform. Another person could have as well gone to Wuse Market and lay an allegation, and you are asking the institution to investigate. It's a different thing from what happened to distinguished Senator Saraki. There was an accusation that he has used his office as the president of the Senate to import bulletproof vehicles and without paying appropriate custom duties. Mm-hmm. Even though the allegations were not correct, and it was sent to the Ethics and Rules and Ethics and Privileges Committee. Mm-hmm. But the important thing was that there was a petition. There was a petition. But in this case, there is no petition anywhere with the police, with the court, with the National Assembly. There is no petition of sexual harassment. So from where is the Senate as an institution going to set up a panel? Who is the complainant? In every accusation, there must be a complainant. Who is a complainant? There is no complainant. We are beginning to see some level of a dance drama in the theater of the absurd. Mm-hmm. So what he's saying has no place in the conversation.
So but if she files a complaint today, it means the ethics committee will have no choice but to look at that, and the Senate President will then step aside.
This thing is sounding to my mind. I know that's the way you feel too. What you are just proposing now is sounding like an issue after the fact. For example, Senator Natasha said on a nationwide television that in all of this harassment, she didn't tell the husband. The husband is not aware. She said so, and we all heard. But today, the husband is coming back to say that the wife carried him along in all of this. So between the two of them, who do we believe? So you must look at the origin, you must interrogate the origin of some of these creations. Yes.
All right. Honorable,
you can ask me any question.
Okay, Honorable SMA Eyibo, we want to thank you very kindly for your time.
I appreciate it, but can I say this as my passing sentence?
Okay.
We should recognize that the Senate, or the National Assembly, particularly the Senate, the legislature is the only reason for democracy. And we cannot destroy an institution, and if it is Akpabio today you want to sacrifice because of political cleavages, tomorrow another person will have to go through that. Then later we come and find out that it was not the truth. The issue of Reno Mokri, who was accused of sexually abusing one young lady, as it were, and the same character today. And the man came to tender passport, tender everything to show that the day of the accusation, that it was not even available, it was in the US. Mm-hmm. And the same person went and deleted all of this online and all of that. So this looks more or less like a replay in the season of Anomy. And we should not give it credit. We should not allow it to exist. We should treat it in a manner, a manner that is deserving of an unbridled umbrage.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. So that was a former spokesperson of the House of Reps and currently image maker to the Senate President, Honorable SMA Eyibo. Yeah. BKO and these are trying times.
Yes.
These are times.
What we want to see is for us to have a National Assembly that truly works for the Nigerian people, that is alive to its responsibilities of making the right laws,
yeah,
you know, for the purpose of good governance in our country. Not necessarily National Assembly that will not disagree with the executive. There's nothing wrong in disagreeing with the executive. Even husband and wife, family members will sometimes have disagreements, will sometimes quarrel. At the end of the day, they come together you know, and they are one again. We want to see a Senate that we can hold up, that we can be proud of. We do not want to see a Senate that is dogged by scandals, and I think that a lot of work needs to be done by way of even leadership recruitment. When we talk about leadership recruitment, the Senate is involved.
The House of Reps,
is involved. All of those elective positions
are involved.
Whether you are, what's it called, these ones are the lowest level at the local government.
Local government chairman.
Councillors.
Councillors, yeah.
We need the right councillors to serve our people. Nothing annoys our people than to hear the sort of things going on in the Senate. We don't want to hear about scandals.
It's like
we just want them to focus on serving the Nigerian people. So a lot of us have been really troubled, and we didn't even want to talk about this matter. And our interest is not to discuss stories about public people, politically exposed persons and celebrities,
and improprieties, you know,
involved in what Bill Clinton called inappropriate sexual behavior. We don't want to see that. We just want these people to serve us in the proper way, because we have a lot of work to do. People in government have a lot of work to do. More and more Nigerians are losing confidence in government. And when these sort of things happen, they only worsen the pessimism that Nigerians have. So I think that the Senate President and the entire members of the Senate have their work cut out
for them.
And what has happened is a lesson for them to stay focused on their core mandate. Nobody is interested in these distractions.
Mayor, the National Assembly of any country is the engine room of democracy in that country.
Yes, they represent the symbol of democracy, because those are the people. Lawmaking actually is the bedrock of democracy.
The executive yields to what comes from
the Senate. The Senate is a very revered institution.
They say it's a hallowed chamber.
Yes, we should try as much as possible to not get carried away by this kind of distraction. And another thing that I want to raise is that the Senate is governed by its rules.
It has rules.
Yes, the rule says
play by the rules.
The rule says that the Senate President, through the Chief Whip, has the right to allocate seats to members, and also have the discretion to change seats, and that if your seat is changed and you did not obey, you will not be you cannot be recognized. And when you are not recognized, you cannot raise the issue of privilege. We have to know that.
All right, gentlemen, come on, we must begin to go. You know, that will just about do it on the program today. Join us tomorrow for another edition